Joining me now from New York is Douglas Wigdor, who represents Wigdor David and an anonymous Weinstein accuser, both who challenged the proposed $25 million civil settlement. Mr. Wigdor, thanks very much for joining us. It would appear that there are a considerable number of women who do want this settlement. What, in your view, is wrong with it?
Well, we don't begrudge anyone who wants to participate in the settlement, but this settlement is really a disgrace. Not only is Harvey Weinstein not paying any part of the settlement, and he's not apologizing, but $12 million reportedly is actually going to the directors who enabled Harvey Weinstein, who we allege enabled Harvey Weinstein to do what he did. Millions of dollars are going to class counsel. And then millions of dollars are going to creditors, some of whom are famous actors and other people. And it's going to leave a very small pot of money for the victims, the true people who have brought this case, that are going to be dispersed by an unknown special master. And if that weren't bad enough, the people who are not going to participate in this settlement, they're going to try and bind them. They're going to try and bind them by giving a release to the insurance companies so they don't have to pay any more money. They're going to try and get a release for the other directors who would otherwise be held accountable by our client. And the money that was going to go to our client will be reverted back to Harvey Weinstein so he can defend the case.
Now, of course, Mr. Weinstein and all those directors you mentioned deny the allegations, but can you just explain, it is a complicated deal, and it's being suggested that if all the women don't sign up, then the deal could fall apart. What would that mean for these many women?
Well, that's not actually true. There are provisions, from what I understand, in the agreement that people can opt out of the settlement, but the problem is that they're trying to put pressure on people who want to hold Harvey Weinstein accountable. Don't forget, this is on the eve of the criminal trial, which is set to begin in January. But if Harvey Weinstein somehow is acquitted, we don't have the civil justice system to hold him accountable. This happened, as you will recall, in the O.J. Simpson trial, where he was found not guilty in the criminal case, but found liable in the civil case. To do a civil settlement before a criminal case just doesn't make any sense, especially when you're trying to bind people who don't want to participate.
And it's important to stress why those civil cases are so important to the women, because despite the fact that there are dozens of women who've come forward with allegations, the actual criminal case against Harvey Weinstein centres around only 2 women for various reasons. So these civil cases are very important, aren't they?
No, they are. They are very important because his alleged behavior is so widespread. For him now to be able to sweep all of these civil cases under the rug without paying any money or accepting any responsibility, and for $12 million to go to pay for the defendant director's legal fees at the expense of the victims is unprecedented. And therefore, we're going to oppose it, we're going to fight it, and we're going to seek to hold Harvey Weinstein and the directors who we allege enabled him accountable.
And very briefly, what are the women you represent saying about this? How are they feeling about this at the moment?
Well, they feel like they have a gun to their head because, you know, the bottom line is that there is a lawyer who is representing the so-called class who stands to make millions of dollars in contingent legal fees. And if she doesn't get this settlement approved, she's not going to get that. And so she's willing to go as far as to say, if you don't settle this case, we're going to consent to the insurance companies being released and the directors being released. And you can go after a bankrupt Weinstein Company, and you can go after Harvey Weinstein, who may declare personal bankruptcy, but you're really left with no choice.
I think that lawyer has suggested that this is the best deal on the table. But just finally, if you would...
It's not.
The Time's Up movement says if this is the best the survivors can get, then the system is broken. Where do you stand on that view?
I agree. Because this is I represent victims in many other cases. The amount of money that is being given to the victims in this case is minute in comparison to other similar cases. This is not the best that can be done. We can continue to fight this, and I believe that ultimately the victims would get more money. Unfortunately, they're settling this case at the worst possible opportunity, and I believe it's because, unfortunately, lawyers want to get paid. And they're going to get $12 million from the director defendant's lawyers, and then millions of dollars to the plaintiff's lawyer who's leading the class as well.
Douglas Wigdor, thank you so much for talking to us today. Got to leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you.